That moment when you realize your skincare is actually working. That's Rodan and Fields, the #1 female dermatologist-founded skincare brand in the U.S. Designed by 2 dermatologists who don't just know women's skin, they know how to formulate for it. Rodan and Fields, love what you see. Tap the banner or visit rodanandfields.com/Spotify to get your exclusive welcome offer.
Your weekend is not complete without the First Lady of New York Radio. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Over the years, I have done many an interview with the famous American singer, dancer, actor, Chita Rivera. Chita was an incredible life force. So when I heard recently that the one and only Chita Rivera, whom you know as Anita in West Side Story, probably one of the best musicals ever, that Chita passed away at age 91, it was shocking because Chita was more than life itself. Just watching her walk across a room was unbelievable. Watching her dance, where your breath was taken away almost by her great gifts and her abilities. She started out in New York doing a review and co-starred with some of the greats. Sammy Davis, Dick Van Dyke, Liza Minnelli, Donald O'Connor. People loved Chita, and she loved them right back. She brought magic to everything she did. And she was a little person, but everything was incredible. Broadway was in her blood. And she would get on, she'd do something, and the audience would go absolutely wild. So how lucky we were that we had her for as long as we did. And the gift that she gave us, Anita, West Side Story, you cannot see a better musical anywhere in the world than this magic. And it was her magic. She created it. I'm going to share with you one of my conversations that I had with Chita. And it seemed like it was long ago, but it wasn't. So to one of life's forces who brought so much pleasure to everyone, no matter where they were, let me introduce you to the one and only Chita Rivera. Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show, and I had the best time reading Chita Rivera's memoir. I can't even tell you what a fabulous trip it was through all her adventures. Her memoir holds you by the hand and pulls you along with her. Chita, you did a great job because it was so real, and I felt like we were sharing everything from the time you were a kid.
Well, I didn't want to do it at all, and that's a wonderful way to express it. I took you by the hand and I led you through my life, and so it's for a person that is pretty private. That's an extreme way to look at it.
No, but. And, you actually, with all the groundbreaking work, and I want to remind everyone that Chita, many Tonys, Kennedy Center honoree, the Dream Award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Broadway shows, the original Anita in West Side Story. I mean, I could do nothing but read credits. It goes on and on. But to have this kind of adventure, when you finished this memoir, were you sitting back and saying, that's me, this is my life? Or it just seemed it happened and I was there?
No, That's exactly the way I felt. I sat back and I was amazed at the reminding of my life. It was a great way for me to be reminded of what had happened to me in my life, and it was a great, as I said, reminder of where I had been and what I had done, and it doesn't happen very often that you get a second chance, and I was given a second chance.
And the people that you work with
my goodness.
Right, just starting out in those days, Fosse and Robbins.
That's right.
And you said you were private. Well, publicity and famous people, but I was like, I don't remember Sammy Davis Jr. And you're having your affair. I mean, you had affairs. Honey, you were busy in your early years.
I wasn't that busy. I mean, I was sort of busy, but I met them on an artistic level, and grew into a relationship, and they were an advantage to my career. I believe that the career and the life go hand in hand,
right.
And besides, I feel that every single one of those people that I've met through my life enabled me to be a better person, and enabled me to be who I am today.
And to survive everything.
Yeah.
And I loved your alter ego. I think so many of us have it, but we don't pay attention. And Dolores, yours, I mean, sometimes really good advice and sometimes very hard on you.
Well, exactly. I mean, Dolores was brought out by Patrick Pacheco, and he reminded me that she was there, but I pushed her down as far as I could at the beginning, and then I just raised my arms and said, okay, I may as well just accept her. And when I did, because I was asked by a critic one time, what made you do can in Japan after your car accident? And I said, I'm nowhere near as nice as I should be. And that is very people know, and that is Dolores.
Who is always there.
Yeah, she's always there, and thank God she is. She stands up for me. She defends me, and she makes the right decisions for me.
Right, and things like that. You refer to that car accident, a terrible, terrible accident that amazingly did not end your career as a dancer. I mean, when you had that accident, it seemed, I'm sure even in retrospect, impossible that you not only survived it, but you survived it as a dancer, as a performer.
Well, I had a doctor that was absolutely amazing, and I treated him like he was one of my teachers. You know, I did exactly what he told me to do. I did it for him. And it was a performance, really. If I discovered if I did exactly what he told me to do, I would survive, and that's what I did. I survived.
You did, and
on a different level, mind you. I was a different person. I had to adjust to different. I had to adjust to different rules, and I was a different person. You know, we get one life, and we have to make the best of it.
Right, and that was a horrific accident. But you know, when you're kids, I mean, my mom sent me to ballet school, to tap school. I can't tell you, there wasn't a school she didn't send me to. But I couldn't do any of that. And here you were, you know, like a lot of kids and parents who want to give everything to their kids. You were going to all this. You went to ballet school. But you were the one who got the scholarship from George Balanchine. We didn't even, when we were kids, who was that? But you and your family sort of knew, and he looked at you and pulled you and knew. And it's amazing.
Well, I was given that opportunity, and he sent a scout down to D.C. to my ballet school, and he took one look at myself and Louis Johnson and said, I would like to see them up in my studio in New York. And we did as we were told. We got on a train and with our parents, and we went. And I was a good listener. I was a good listener and a good student, and that's what I want the kids to get out of this book. You know, if they want something, they have to be passionate about it. They have to work hard at it, and you know, they have to give their. If they're going to go as far as I went. They're going to have to give their life to it, you know.
But you had a mom too, Chita. Who understood and really got it. I mean, she knew you had. Every parent or most parents look at their kids and say, "Oh, did you ever see anyone like that?" But your mom sort of recognized that gift early on, and it wasn't like a bragging mother because she wanted you to, you know, do it and work at it, but she knew and recognized it and respected it.
Well, that's very good of you to recognize that, because I give everything to my mother. She sits on one shoulder even today and whispers in one ear. But she knew that I had unchained energy, and she knew just where to put it. Now, maybe she wanted to be a dancer herself. And she recognized it in me. But she put me in that ballet school, and that was where I grew up. You know, that's where I understood, and it was a language that I understood. You know. So.
And when you were in the Broadway production, the premiere of West Side Story, Anita, that was life-changing in many ways, because suddenly this local gifted young woman was known all around the world. and life changed rapidly.
Well, that's very true. And being with Jerry Robbins was a gift. Just doing what he said was an asset. It was knowledge that we couldn't get any place else but there with Jerry Robbins. And if he screamed at us, we took it. If he was nice this day, we took it. We, pardon me, we listened to him, and we did exactly what he said, and we were okay.
This shrimp and coconut sauce is divine. What's your secret?
Goya coconut milk.
How does it taste so good?
It's all in that real coconut flavor and that rich, creamy texture.
What about thickeners and added sugars?
None. Just smooth, coconutty goodness.
What can I make with it?
From curries to sweet treats like coconut flan, the possibilities are endless.
Goya coconut milk. Take your cooking to the next level. No question about it. Find it in the Goya section of your local grocery store. If it's Goya, it has to be good.
Roger Stone here for Colonial Metals Group. Pay attention, because China is leading the largest anti-American alliance since World War II. One that's already dumped U.S. bonds, grabbed 43 million acres of our farmland, and is plotting to dethrone the dollar. That's why IRA and 401k savers are protecting their savings with gold. Go to freegoldguide.com/stone or call 800-747-6589 for your free gold guide on how to protect your wealth with gold, and it's 100% tax-free.
Janine Pirro here with an urgent warning. While we celebrate Trump's historic win, inflation continues to drain your IRA and 401k. And China is now targeting your money with a kill shot on the dollar. That's why thousands of Americans are shielding their savings with gold and contacting the experts at Colonial Metals Group. For a free 2024 gold guide that explains everything, go to freegoldguide.com/Pirro, Pirro, or call 800-965-8004. Don't let America's enemies ruin this victory and steal your retirement money. The experts at Colonial Metals Group are the only folks that I trust to bulletproof your wealth in gold. Go to freegoldguide.com/Pirro or call 800-965-8004. 800-965-8004 for a free 2024 gold guide to learn how you can protect your life's work and if you can qualify for a free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver now. freegoldguide.com/Pirro.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track, and ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Now, Candor and Ebb were a major part of your world and your coming of age. The songwriters, in fact, I was reading an article recently in the paper, and it was talking about 90 becoming the new 60. And which they, and all these people, including someone so important to your life, the composer John Candor, who
right.
How old is he now? 96 or
96 or 97?
Right.
One of the two, and he is as nice as he ever was. He's the kindest. He's the most gentle. I mean, he is, and he's the funniest. He sort of crawled out from underneath Freddie. He and Freddie were so totally different, and actually they had to be, because what Freddie would draw from John is something that he didn't have, and what John drew from Freddie was something that he didn't have. And I'll never forget spending the night at Freddie's and waking up to hearing them composing a song. It was just mind-boggling how they got it out, and it was just mind-boggling, fantastic. But I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
No, and all your incredible stories for example, you gave us another side of Sammy Davis Jr., with whom you had an affair at a certain point in your life. But we couldn't stop reading all about that and about him as a person and as a talent. You depict this little guy who's like, you can't stop him from anything, and how good he was and talented.
Well, he was all of that, and he was not to be stopped. He was made to please people. That's why his craft. He played drums. He played saxophone. He played trumpet. He could tap. He could sing. He could act. I mean, he just there was no ending to his talent, and he did it all to please the audience, and that comes out in his personality too, and that's what attracted me. Because when I heard that he was doing a Broadway show, I became Miss Snooty ballet dancer.
Right.
I said, what is he doing coming to Broadway? That's for Broadway dancers or singers. But little did I know that he was actually capable of doing all of it and showing us that he can.
And he did. I'm talking to Chita Rivera, whose new memoir, Chita, is available now. And you are going to come of age with Chita, with all these people who were not yet who they ended up being, but on the road. People like Liza Minnelli, just one of the many people that Chita met on this road and hung out with. And you showed us a picture of a very complicated Liza, but very talented.
Well, I was always a fan, and when I got the opportunity to work with Liza, that was a dream come true, and there was so much to learn from her. Just watching her and being on the same stage as her. And when we did the show together, it was a great book, and it was two characters that lived with one another and learned from one another, and Liza wasn't at her best at that time, but she came out of it okay. Right.
But there's still a lot of breath holding as as you're trying to do your thing. And then Chita, with West Side Story, started hanging out with Leonard Bernstein, Jerome Robbins, Hal Prince, Sondheim. It's incredible. Worked with Gwen Verdon and Bob Fosse, with whom she was married then, when it came to Sweet Charity. And even the original Chicago, one of the greats.
Well, well, Chicago was certainly one of the great shows, and it's still running today. Another version of it, but it is still running. The score is still the same, and basically the staging is different, but I never dreamt that I would be standing next to one of my idols. After watching her on television when I was younger, and admiring her then, and then many years later, standing next to her, dressed exactly the same as her, and we are two dancing as one. So that was pretty exciting. That was pretty exciting.
And she was so generous, too, when a lot of stars are not.
Yeah, I mean, she really did call me into her room and tell me that I had some special qualities, and I should think about those and work on a character that would fit myself. And what star would take the time to advise a performer in the privacy of her dressing room? Not many that I know. Not many that I know.
No, that's for sure. And I love reading about your daughter growing up, and when you would sometimes get a little nutsy with all the pressure on you, your daughter would say, "Mom, you're being Puerto Rican."
Well, she was saying you're being Latin. You're getting fiery. Yeah, you're getting fiery, and it was just a laughing moment, you know.
And your daughter turned out to have a lot of talent too.
Absolutely, she sings, she dances, she acts, and she looks like her father and me. I mean, it's amazing how parents suddenly look like each other when they have a kid. But she is very, very talented. Very talented.
And she was a great kid. And the two of you hung on and went through all kinds of things and did it and came out great on the other side.
Absolutely. We certainly did. We certainly did.
And that isn't so easy. So, Chita, at how old? You're almost, or you're turned 90, right?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? I mean, that is. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know.
I understand.
I really don't understand how it happens. It happens very, very fast, and you better get on the bandwagon before it's too late.
And do what you haven't you felt even after you finish your memoir and looking back at it, that with your alter ego, Dolores, you still accomplished everything and did everything that you wanted to do, and your mom lived long enough to see it. Yeah.
Well, that is so clever of you to decipher, because that means more to me than anything. That Mother brought me up, put me in ballet school, sent me to New York, came to my opening nights, and I will never forget receiving the Tony for A Kiss of the Spider Woman, and my mother having just passed away at that time. But she was there for most of it. And, she was there to see it happen. And that's the least I can give to her, outside of the fact that being aware of her on my shoulder.
Right, and she is
constantly.
there, and you're close. And the brothers were there all the times when you needed them?
Absolutely. Well, my brothers and sister are there, and one is in the actor's home. He's 90. I guess he's 97, and thank God he's doing well, and the other one has grandchildren, and so it's
they're good.
They're good. They're good.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
Clorox Sentiva smells like lavender. Cleans like Clorox. And feels like...
All right, that could go on for a while. Experience the long-lasting freshness of Clorox Sentiva. Available in Clorox Sentiva Lavender Scented Bleach. Use as directed.
The #1 selling product of its kind with over 20 years of research and innovation. Botox Cosmetic, onabotulinum toxin A, is a prescription medicine used to temporarily make moderate to severe frown lines, crow's feet, and forehead lines look better in adults.
Effects of Botox Cosmetic may spread hours to weeks after injection, causing serious symptoms. Alert your doctor right away as difficulty swallowing, speaking, breathing, eye problems, or muscle weakness may be a sign of a life-threatening condition. Patients with these conditions before injection are at highest risk. Don't receive Botox Cosmetic if you have a skin infection. Side effects may include allergic reactions, injection site pain, headache, eyebrow and eyelid drooping, and eyelid swelling. Allergic reactions can include rash, welts, asthma symptoms, and dizziness. Tell your doctor about medical history, muscle or nerve conditions including ALS or Lou Gehrig's disease, myasthenia gravis, or Lambert-Eaton syndrome and medications, including botulinum toxins, as these may increase the risk of serious side effects. For full safety information, visit BotoxCosmetic.com or call 877-351-0300.
See for yourself at BotoxCosmetic.com.
The rural way of life is about making everyone feel at home. Tractor Supply chose advanced 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to transform intelligent customer service. Together, we put the power of AI to work across 2,200 stores, keeping things running seamlessly inside, curbside, and countryside. This is elevated customer experience. This is Tractor Supply with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
And you're good with all of this. And I remember once you were telling me about, getting through these strenuous and the shows and the dancing and the need to be really physically secure in your own body. And we were talking about food. And I can recall, like, Joan Rivers would never eat anything after a very early hour, like 1 o'clock or something. And
right.
That would be it. But you had also said that you're finished eating, except for some nice water or liquid or something, by what, 3, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still do that?
Well, yeah, I'll have a cookie at 2 o'clock.
One cookie.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do that. I see those cookies and they say, hey, someone's got to eat me.
Oh my goodness, that's so true. But I had the one cookie. That's enough for me.
I'm very impressed. And you don't overeat ever, right?
No, and as a matter of fact, when we get to dinner time, that's the laugh of the day. We look at each other and say, "What's for dinner?" And it's always a drag. It's always I'm just not much of an eater,
because you were always a dancer.
Yeah. I'm afraid so.
I know. Well, I sort of envy that. I came up on the other side. If you can chew it, you're going to eat it. And we ate. But of course, we weren't working in Broadway shows and dancing our hearts out, and with rehearsal and everything. Do you still dance or try to dance on a regular basis?
Yeah. Well, I have a machine here that I ride every so often, and I have a physical therapist that comes in, and he's been off for the past week, but he went out of town. But he comes and he gets my daughter in shape and me in shape, and I don't do as much as I should,
but you
do. Used to, used to. But I still try to get it up.
and it works. You can still lift those legs.
Yeah, I can raise them. I'm raising them now.
Well, I can barely get out of a chair. If I sit in a comfortable chair, I keep saying, gosh, this furniture is low, but I don't think I can blame it on the furniture.
How old are you now?
Pretty old.
Okay.
Let's say, I have a friend who always used to say, between 40 and death. And I like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Chita, I love the book, and you really did such a good job because it was personal. And, I read a lot of these books, and it's fun to read, but you don't identify. But we really went along with you on this. You did a good job. And
I'm so glad. And I'm so glad that Patrick Pacheco assisted me on it.
He's good.
He's very, very good. And he enjoys it as much as I try to. But I'm so glad that you found it personable, and you were in the same room with us when we were.
That makes a big difference.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, and it's always so nice to talk to you.
Well, thank you, Chita. I always dreamed of hanging out with Sondheim, and you made it possible. So
oh, good.
Take care of yourself. We'll talk again.
Okay,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC, and Chita's memoir is available wherever books are sold. You're going to love it. It's a great story, a great adventure, and it's all true. I hope you all enjoyed a recent interview that I had with the one and only Chita Rivera, who really became part of American legends when she played Anita in the great musical West Side Story. Chita died at age 91. And had an incredible life and brought incredible joy to everyone who saw her, singing and dancing, her energy, her spirit. And she did live a good long life, 91, but it's never enough with someone like that. Started out as a dancer, and the rest is all history. So she'll be in the minds and thoughts of anyone who loved theater and love to watch someone like this perform. She leaves her wonderful daughter, one of the great joys in her life. And I know you're going to get a chance to see her work, and I hope you enjoyed her interview. I know it gives me great pleasure every time I talk to Chita. Hard to believe she's gone, but through her gifts, she goes on forever, and through her wonderful daughter. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you've been listening to Chita on WABC.